Hello, dear friends. Once again, a very warm welcome to this wonderful platform of e-learning, that is YouTube, and on your own channel, Lit eCity, where at present we are conducting a series of quizzes related with various topics, especially those that are frequently asked in your NET exams. And in today's edition, we are going to discuss some questions, almost 15-16 questions on Indian diaspora writing. Indian diaspora writing is relatively a recent field of studies. Those writers who were born or those who have some connection to India and now they are either residing or they have permanently resided or they have been brought up and they are educated or their job. Anyway, they are now part of some other country other than India. Their writings, their fiction, their memoirs, their experiences, and how they are different from those writers who are residing and writing in India. These are some very interesting field of scholarly research, and there are some eminent names like we can say V S Naipaul, he is a Nobel Prize winner. Then we have Salman Rushdie, Rohinton Mistry, Jhumpa Lahiri. These all are very, at present illuminated name in the field of world fiction. So it would be very apt if we have this discussion, this quiz on this Indian diaspora writing. So, okay, we start this quiz with our first question. Described as a felicitous prose poem, Afternoon Rag. This is name of a novel. It is the account of a young Bengali man who is studying at Oxford University and caught in complicated love triangle. The acclaimed novelist this novel is known for his diaspora fiction. Now your options, dear friends, are Amit Chaudhary, Jhumpa Lahiri, Hari Kunjru, and Meera Syal. Okay, let me tell you, all these four are diaspora writers and you have to find out the answer. We will talk about all these writers in the coming questions, but the answer for this particular question, dear friend, is Amit Chaudhary. In passing, let me tell you something about Amit Chaudhary. Amit Chaudhary is a poet. He is also an acclaimed musician, which we can see in this novel also. And he is a highly regarded critic. He is also a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. He is a fellow to this Royal Society of Literature, and then he is professor of contemporary literature at University of East Anglia. Okay, he is also, sort of in controversy when in 2012 at Jaipur Literature Festival he decided to read some excerpt from Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses. And his most popular work, apart from Afternoon Rag, you must remember this, it is The Immortals. Okay, all these information, dear friends, not only these questions, this is just not a quiz. It is basically, we can say, a short guide to all the topics which we cover in these quizzes. So this quiz is also designed with this particular aim. Okay, our next question. Which among the following facts is not true about the fictional works of V S Naipaul? Now, we all know Naipaul is, we can say, he is the most important writer when we talk about diaspora fiction. The first fact, The Mystic Method. It tells the story of a poor and frustrated young writer, Ganesh Ram Sumer, and who, after writing, this is the book written by Ganesh Ram Sumer, 101 questions and answers on the Hindu religion, eventually becomes successful and even the president of the Trinidad Hindu Association. It is the first fact. Second one is A House for Mr. Biswas, very popular work. It deals with born unlucky Mohan and his frustrated attempts to procure a house for himself and his bumpy relationship with his in-laws, the Tulsi family. The third one is The Mimic Man is a collection of short stories linked together by location based on a real street, Louis Street, where V S Naipaul himself lived with his family in the 1940s. And the last fact is In a Free State. It is a Booker Prize winner book consisting of three stories that focus on the experiences of uprooted people who try to live in different kinds of free societies. Okay, I hope it is rather easy question because you must have read something about first two novels, The Mystic Mysore and A House for Mr. Biswas. In fact, let have these options. These are just formalities. The answer is third. The Mimic Man is not collection of short stories. Actually, the work which is basically described here is Meagle Street. Meagle Street. It is a work of V S Naipaul, which have basically nine stories, 9 or 10 stories, and they are all linked by this then the characters. And basically, the Mimic Man. If we talk about Mimic Man is the story of Ranjit Kripal Singh. He is the protagonist of The Mimic Man, Ranjit Kripal Singh, who is basically we are told that he is born on the Caribbean island of Isabela in 1920s, and there is basically fall of government power in Isabela. Then he immigrates to UK. Then he starts writing his memoirs in a hotel and beginning with his university years, his relationship, all this in a typical V.S. Naipaul style. Okay, coming to our next question. The best poems of this Indian American poet are collected in A Walk Through the Yellow Pages, The Half Inch Himalayas, The Country Without a Post Office, and Rooms Are Never Finished. All these poems, most of his poetry, evoke a haunting memory of his birthplace, Kashmir, and its later political turmoil. Who is this very well-known poet? Is it Vikram Seth, or is it Javed Kazi, Aga Shahid Ali, or Shauna Singh Baldwin? Who is this basically writer? And the right answer for this is Aga Shahid Ali. Aga Shahid Ali was quite famous with his poetry, and his last work, dear friends, was Call Me Ismail. It is the name of his last work. I hope you all know these lines. These are the opening line of one of the most popular adventure novel, American novel. And Aga Shahid Ali is also known as also known for his translation of Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and his house is basically like a museum for Begum Akhtar. He was very fond of Begum Akhtar. Okay, our next question. Which novel of Amitav Desai deals with the theme of East-West encounter through the marriage between Sarah, who is a British girl, and Dave, who is an Indian? Okay, your options are In Custody, Fire on the Mountain, Bye Bye Blackbird, The Artist of Disappearance. Anita Desai is one of the earliest exponent of Indian literature. Later she got established in US, and still she wrote about some migration and diaspora experience also. The answer for this question is Bye Bye Blackbird. This particular novel talks about East-West encounter. If we talk about In Custody, the main character of In Custody is Devain, who wants to interview a poet, Urdu poet Noor, and then his experience. Fire on the Mountain, it is basically a story of Nanda Kaul, who lives in basically a small village of Kasoli. The Artist of Disappearance, actually it is collection of three novellas. It is not one work, it is collection of three novellas, quite later work by Anita Desai in her life. Okay, moving ahead to our next question. The very first novel of this young writer, The Impressionist, exposes the oppressive institutions of the British Empire and the absurdity of a racially prejudiced world. Who is this writer? Okay, we are going to talk about very exciting, very you can say relatively young writer. The options at present are A. Sunetra Gupta, B. Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, C. Hari Kunjru, and 4. D. Bharti Mukherjee. All are, we can say, the younger generation, the second generation of the diaspora writers. They all have, to their credit, some very extraordinary works, first works. But the answer for this particular question is Hari Kunjru. Hari Kunjru is a very popular writer. He is writer of works like Transmissions, My Revolutions, and his very popular work God Without Man, God Without Man, and another very popular work, White Tears. These two works are quite well known by Hari Kunjru. If we talk about this novel, The Impressionist, it is about transform the main protagonist. The main character of this novel is Prannath. He is born out of wedlock. An Indian woman, she marries a high caste man, and then he transforms himself with a British name, Jonathan. Jonathan, I think it is, yes, Bridgman. Jonathan Bridgman. Okay, if we talk about Gods Without Man, it is basically, it spans through epochs, different epochs, and Mojave Desert. It is the background where this all happens. 21st, 20th, 19th, and 18th century characters come and go in this great epical scale novel. Okay, moving ahead with our next question. Match the two columns related with the acclaimed Indian Canadian writer Rohinton Mistry. Rohinton Mistry, once again a name who is very popular, who is spearheaded upon the diaspora writers. You have to match these column. At the first column, we have novels like Such a Long Journey, A Fine Balance, and Family Matters. On the other hand, we have Gustave Noble, protagonist, Manek, and Nariman Vakil. So you have to find which protagonist belong to which particular novel. The options are, you can see, let me tell you briefly about this novel. For example, Such a Long Journey, which is his debut novel, it is about a bank clerk and a family man and a vulnerable figure. He is still thinking about the bad memories he has about Chinese war in 1962, and then all the time of crisis and turmoil even after he has migrated from India. Okay, A Fine Balance is a story of four characters, and these four characters, the impact of emergency declared by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on their lives. Family Matters, it is a story of a retired academic, and his illness places a kind of a strain on the family relationship. Okay, Such a Long Journey, the story is of Gustave Noble. Fine Balance, we have Manik, we have Dina, Ishwar, Om Prakash, and Family Matters, it is Nariman Vakil. So absolutely A, B, and C, they match their relatively columns. So it is option D. Moving to our next question. Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni is an Indian American award winning author who has written novels ranging from realistic fiction to magic realism, from historical fiction to fantasy and reworking of myths. Which among these deals with the retelling of Ramayana from Sita's perspective? Her novels are quite interesting. They all are written from feminist point of view, and she also has reworked Indian epics. So our options are The Forest of Enchantments, The Palace of Illusions, Queen of Dreams, and The Vine of Desire. Very popular works once again, and the right answer for this particular question is The Forest of Enchantments, which is written from Sita's point of view. Side by side, The Palace of Illusions, it traces Panchali's or Draupadi's life from her magical birth, then her marriage with Pandavas, and later life. Queen of Dreams, it is about Rakhi, who is a painter and a single mother, and then she is in a entangled relationship with her ex-husband Sony. She has a dream-telling mother, and there are many secrets. The Vine of Desire is actually a sequel to Divakaruni's novel Sister of My Heart, and once again we have Anju and Sudha, two young women, and they are basically their relationship. So she is quite, we can say, exciting author, young author. This critically acclaimed novel follows four characters: a judge, his granddaughter Sai, and the cook, all living in Cho Oyu, which is a stately manor in the village of Kalimpong, and cook's son Biju, who lives in New York City. So there are four characters, and this novel itself was quite popular. The options are The Inheritance of Loss by Kiran Desai, The Tiger's Daughter by Bharti Mukherjee, Karma Kola by Geeta Mehta, and Memories of Rain by Sunitra Gupta. Okay, without wasting any time, because I hope you all know about this novel, Cho Oyu and Kalimpong, Bizu and Sai, they all are memorable character. It is Kiran Desai's The Inheritance of Loss, for which she won Man Booker Prize. Man Booker Prize in 2006. It is her second novel. Basically, Tiger's Daughter by Bharti Mukherjee. It is about Tara. The protagonist is Tara, and she is married to an American man and cultural shock. Bharti Mukherjee's most novel deals with this theme of cultural shock. Karma Kola, it is rather, we should say, a non-fiction work. It is basically a presentation of quest for spiritual enlightenment, and how India's spirituality has become a product, a consumer society, and how the Westerner want to seek fulfillment in teaching and practices of Hinduism. Memoirs of Rain by Sunitra Gupta, it is also award-winning book. It won Sahitya Akademi Award in 1996. So all these are very popular works. Next question. This Canadian American novelist of Indian descent is the author of such promising and acclaimed works like What the Body Remembers, We Are Not in Pakistan, The Tiger Claw. What is the name of this writer? Now your options are Uma Parmeshwaram, Shauna Singh Baldwin, Rohinton Mistry, or Shyam Selvadurai. All are very popular, all are typical, we can say, diaspora writers. Uma Parmeshwaran, she settled in Canada, and she is known for one particular term, that is Trishanku. Trishanku is basically a term she uses for those diaspora who are not here, not there, and a cycle of moon is name of collection of her poem. Rohinton Mistry, we have already talked about him, and Shyam Selvadurai, he is a Sri Lankan Canadian novelist, and famous work by him is Funny Boy, which was published in 1994, and also Cinnamon Gardens. The answer for this option remains Shauna Singh Baldwin. What the body remembers. It is basically a story of Roop, who is just a 16-year-old village girl in Punjab. Then she marries, we can say that she becomes second wife of a wealthy Sikh landowner Sardarji, and whose first wife Satya has failed to bear him any children. And then what are relationship? This is basically presented in this particular book. The Tiger Claw, it is very popular work also. The Tiger Claw is a story of Noor Inayat Khan. Noor Inayat Khan was Indian origin की British spy, and her work during First World War. What the body remembers, it won the 2000 Commonwealth Book Best Book Prize for the best book. Okay, next one is relatively easy one. India is for me a difficult country. It isn't my home and cannot be my home, and yet I cannot reject it or be indifferent to it. I cannot travel only for the sights. I am at once too close and too far. Which celebrated writer of Indian origin thus expressed his ambivalent attitude regarding India? Your options are Salman Rushdie, V S Naipaul, Rohinton Mistry, and Neeraj C. Chaudhary. Obviously, the answer here is V S Naipaul. His ancestors were indentured laborers who shifted, or what we use in India, girmitia. So Naipaul has a mixed feeling of this, basically feeling home and feeling a stranger towards India, which he has also very candidly expressed in his non-fiction. Moving to our question, next question. Match the columns about the works of Jhumpa Lahiri, very celebrated writer once again. On one side, we have novels like The Lowland, the latest by Jhumpa Lahiri, published in 2013. Unaccustomed Earth, it was published in 2008. The Namesake, which is very popular work, 2003. And Interpreter of Melodies, her first work, published in 1999. And here are the description. um, okay, I should rather go with the answers at this time. The lowland is actually the story of two brothers, Subhash and Udayan Mitra, and it is also woven with the background of Naxalite movement, the violence and all the tension, how it affect their lives. Unaccustomed Earth. Unaccustomed Earth is basically a collection of 8 stories dealing with Indian families, and how they basically faced dilemmas faced by diaspora communities. The Namesake, we all are very much familiar with this novel. It is story of Ashima and Ashok Ganguly, their journey from Calcutta to Cambridge, then to Boston, and last one is Interpreter of Melodies. It is basically a collection of 9 stories. This one is basically last one. The arrow is slightly misplaced. A collection of 9 stories dealing with dilemmas faced by the diaspora community. The Unaccustomed Earth, it is a collection of 8 stories dealing with Indian families settled abroad. And if we talk about Interpreter of Melodies, it won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction and Hemingway Foundation Pan Award in 2000. And similarly, The Namesake, it was adapted into a movie directed by Meera Nair. Meera Nair directed this movie. Irfan, Tabu, they acted in it. And also one important thing, reference of Nikolai Gogol. It is very important to this novel. Ashok Ganguly's favorite writer, he is reading a work by Gogol when the train in which he is journeying, it is derailed and his life is saved, and he named his son in memory of this writer. And all these beautiful minute details are used by Jhumpa Lahiri. Most of her works are based in Kolkata. Okay. Peripheral man. It is a term used for a migrant who leaves his homeland and try to become one with his new surroundings, but longs to return home at an appropriate time. So peripheral man, or what we have seen in Uma Parmeshwaram, Trishanko, neither here neither there, who used this term for the diaspora community. Is it V S Naipaul or Amitav Ghosh, Jhumpa Lahiri or Rohinton Mistry? So it is basically V S Naipaul who in his works and in his non-fiction has used this term for the diaspora man who basically belong to nowhere. He is like a nomad. Okay, this popular novel tells the story of Agastya, a city boy, and his journey of adapting to the district life of Madna. And it is basically more like a kasbah, a village. The work culture of an IAS and the exploration of his own self. Okay, your options are the Great Indian Novel by Shashi Tharoor, The Tottenham by Alan Sele, English August, An Indian Story by Upmanyu Chatterjee, or Bombay Duck by Farooq Dondi. All these works are remarkable in their presentation of new sensibilities, diaspora sensibilities. So the answer for this particular question is English August. If we talk about other works, the Great Indian Novel, it is basically satirical work, and it is reworking of Mahabharat, the epic, and divided into 18 books. And like we have Bhishma Pitama, in this novel we have Ganga Dutt. He is basically modeled on Gandhiji's. Similarly, the Trotter Nama, it is work by Alan Selly. It spans almost 200 years and cultures, two cultures, Parsi, Anglo one and Indian one, and extraordinary story of an Anglo-Indian clan. Bombay Duck, it is by Farooq Dundi, who is settled in England. It consists of two separate narratives, part one and part two. First part is narrative of a black actor, Gerald Blossom, who assumes Muslim name Ali Abdul Rahman, and the second part is narrative of Indian Parsi, Xerex, Mr. Xerex or Mr. XX. It's a very interesting work. The novel that narrates the story of Nazneen, a young Bangladeshi woman going to London to marry an older man, Chano. What is the name of this particular novel? And your options are Brick Lane by Monica Ali, Such a Long Journey by Rohinton Mistry, Wife by Bharti Mukherjee, The Mistress of Spices by Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni. Very once again a very popular work, and the answer for this particular question is Brick Lane by Monica Ali. Okay, Feminist Fables, a collection of 99 fables, is a reworking of Indian myths and legends to showcase the women's problem from a feminist perspective. Who is the writer of this critically acclaimed work? Okay, your options are Sumiti Namjoshi, Meena Alexander, Meera Syal, or Anita Rao Badami. Once again, I will give you information regarding all these four emerging new writers. Sumiti Namjoshi, she grew up in India, she worked in Canada, and at present she is living in England with English writer Gillian Hanscom. Meena Alexander, she was born in Allahabad, then she was raised in India and Sudan, and now she is living in New York, and her collection of poems are Illiterate Heart and Raw Silk. And she is very also written a very popular autobiographical novel, Nampalli Road. Meera Syal, she has written Anita and Me. She is very popular media celebrity in UK. Anita and Me. It is a comic semi-autobiographical novel, and she has also written a script for some very popular UK television shows like Bhaji on the Beach and Tandoori Nights. Anita Rao Badami. She is an Indo-Canadian writer, and her most popular novel is Tamarind Ma'am, which tells stories of Saroja trapped in a domestic role of traditional role of wife and mother. So the answer for this particular question, feminist fables. She is a fabulist also, Suniti Namjoshi. The last question for this particular session is paranormal pragmatism. It is the phrase used to describe the principal theme in novels of this internationally reputed writer of Indian diaspora. The options are V S Naipaul, Salman Rushdie, Amitav Ghosh, or Vikram Seth. And the answer, I hope you can all easily guess by the phrase itself, Salman Rushdie. Dear friends, I have not covered much about Salman Rushdie and Amitav Ghosh, two of the giants of diaspora fiction, because I think that they deserve a separate session on their works and they deserve deep study for everyone related with English literature who are doing, we can say, higher education in English literature. This is all with our diaspora writing, Indian diaspora writing. I hope this quiz helps you to understand different writers and their works, and it will give you an idea what to read. And there are many other minor writers also which you should also be aware of. Thank you, dear friends.